Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to The Young Man with Rins, where we share the journey of a man in simple stories. My name is Rins. Welcome to The Young Man. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, you know how we do it. Welcome to I think, one of the prestigious podcasts called The Young Man. And I am your host, Rins. And, every Friday we just gather around and then get to hear the sound of our amazing guest. Today, we have the amazing Godson. Ogumka. Godson is a technology entrepreneur and consultant for government and non-state actors. He holds a baccalaureate from the prestigious Abia State University. By the way, that is my university as well, Uturu, and we'll get to know more about how we're connected back in school. So, in urban and regional planning and other professional certifications from the University of Michigan, United States, Loyola Institute of Business Administration, LIBA, Google Digital Garage. He specializes in design and implementation for smart projects, including the planning of World Energy Forum 2022 and implementation of Niger Delta Program by World Bank. Solid with practical entrepreneurial education, process and outcome technology, emergency solution system, and interfacing with SMEs. He has collaborated with institutions, federal ministry, and government agencies across Africa in project development within the West and Central Africa. The founder of Pan African Spark, known for support of technopreneurial education. As a committed grassroots technology advocate, he is a second-tier partner with Google Digital Skills for Africa to implement digital training for young people, coaching them and inspiring more than 25,000 youths in different careers and discipline. As a user experience and user interface designer and front-end developer with special focus on healthcare, medical, and enterprise solution. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to welcome on today's episode on The Young Man, Godson Ogumka. Please, if those hands are not busy, wherever you're listening, you're driving to work, you're at the gym, wherever, put your hands together for my very good friend, Godson Ogumka.
Yeah, thank you so much for
Yeah,
accolades and those loud mentions.
it's not accolade, it's your profile.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
One of the things I respect about you is your doggedness over the time. And the reason I brought you here is just for you to share your journey in tech. And I remember how you started sharing that your father was confused every time you're in the cyber cafe. Can you just share more light on that? Like, I've never forgotten that story since you told me back in school.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I think I pretty much started on this part right about senior secondary school days. Back then, when they teach you computer science in high school,
Yeah.
you see 10, 15, or 20 of us gather around one CRT, one screen.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, and very inquisitive to know just how to use, the typewriter keys, or just a keyboard rather, and Microsoft Word.
True.
Elements also got so inquisitive, and that was when I started my inquiry into the technology landscape. Why? How does it work? How does the mouse roll? How does it move around? What is this all about? I became extra inquisitive when I could see the internet, used to communicate people far and near. If you remember the days of Yahoo Messenger,
True.
yes. So that's took it a little step, one step further,
Mm.
because if you could chat with someone beyond the shores of your country, even without knowing who, build some relationship and find interest, it is beautiful, even for a young person at that time.
Mm.
So these were the things that ignited that spark into my drive for innovation and technical thinking. So, I mean, it's been a long way coming. That was back in 2003, 2004.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, long
Quite a long time. Yeah.
time.
But did you start at that point? What triggered your interest? Yeah, you've explained what the interest was and the debate into tech. But at
Mm.
what point did you started? You were like, let me start coding.
Okay. Yeah. First of all, knowledge is so wide. The knowledge of technology and computer science is wide. I started with Microsoft Word. When I exhausted the reality that I felt was so, you know, uh, big and I couldn't explain, when I was able to decode and, fathom how it works, I was thinking of what could be more, what could be more, what could be better. Then I went into the PowerPoint, the Excels, the Corel Draw, the paints, and every basic application. Then I asked myself the question: whoever created this was still here. How did he go about it? What is the engine that makes all of this work? Other than just being an application user, I want to be an application developer, or
Develop.
I need to create it my own way, create something beautiful just like that. So I started going into HTML, CSS, those very basics. I kept going on, kept moving, the CMDs, understanding how all of those works. I mean, those years were pretty tough. I mean, those days when you see me with, always see me with one laptop or the other.
Yeah.
I
And
knew it was so popular for that back then, man.
yeah, true. And it's a shocking reality, also considering the fact that you studied um urban and regional planning.
Yeah. Okay. There's a twist as to my learning path,
Okay.
because originally I intended to study computer science. I gained a few admissions in different universities in UK. I mean, if you go through their directories as far back as 2000, 2007, you might find my name printed in most of their, spaces. Most importantly, because I requested a lot of prospectuses from different universities, University of Birmingham, name them. I mean, virtually, there was this portal then, UCAS. So I could scan through UCAS, universities
Yeah.
on campus, whatever. I could scan through the portal, and I was successful. I got some scholarships. Some were also 50% waiver scholarships. But back then, my dad had a crazy experience. I think the whole concept of your the young man program you're putting up together is beautiful, because the turning point for was when I realized there was a story behind every experience. My dad was, architect to my not studying or furthering my course as I intended. Why? Because he had a younger brother who he let travel out to Germany and Italy for as far back as, the early 90s. And for several years after, he couldn't find him. He couldn't read no email or letter from, no feedback from those who we knew were closer to him, even.
Wow.
Yeah. So eventually he lost his brother.
Wow.
Only found out years later that he was gone. So this is my trying to validate and say, I wouldn't want the same thing that happened to his kid brother to happen to his own son. So despite being exposed to those beautiful experiences of getting a scholarship and all that, he decided deep down inside him that, hey, this one is not going nowhere. No matter how he, I'm not letting him go beyond me, get out away from me.
Mm. But
I,
I know you were a very hard nut to crack because
I
uh,
won.
yeah,
I
at
won.
the time, at the time you traveled, I remember you traveled to, I think you went to Indonesia, you went to the US, you went
I
to
did
India,
India. Yeah, in India, Singapore. Uh,
Singapore.
mm.
So, can you just share a little bit? Because since we are talking about travel and then parental restrictions, how, like, I just want you to just talk about how he saw your travel, and then we'll now delve into what
Okay.
got you,
Uh,
what got you to the point of actually traveling, why, and the things you did. But talk about your parental, how they felt about the fact that you were traveling.
I mean, the story I was telling you, we are like foundations experience. First of all,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
before he didn't want me to go nowhere. And I remember back in high school, we were three friends. We were famous for being called Three Musketeers. We
Mm,
all decided that we were going to leave the shores of this country and we were going to make it happen, study
mm,
when we were out of high school. And,
mm-hmm.
the other two were able to leave and exit right about a year or two after high school,
Hmm.
secondary school days. Then Godson was left here trying to pursue at the university. You get the point. And
Hmm.
it was a little bit, it was a lot of frustration and disappointment on my end. Not that I wasn't smart enough. This was me
Mm.
thinking,
Yeah.
yeah, not that I wasn't smart enough. I was, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Go ahead.
Not I wasn't, but because there were a few challenges
Mm-hmm.
with his own experiences, I mean, my dad this time,
Yeah.
it somewhat impacted me. So what
True.
did I do? I told myself, whether I would walk through innovative experiences that could also take me beyond the shores of Nigeria.
Okay.
Then we got into the university and I learned about a few international business plan competitions.
Mm-hmm.
First, it was Unilever Idea Trophy.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, state universities weren't exposed to that kind of informational learning. So I
Okay.
had friends from ABU Zaria, Mr. Mena Blessing, who also shared information about that program. So he was a past winner, a previous winner, and he wanted us to participate in the new experience a year later. So
Mm-hmm.
we applied, and we were the only state university, candidates or participants that made it from the regionals to the quarterfinals to the semifinals and to the finals.
Mm.
So we scaled through to become the only state university and even southeastern, school
I
that
remember.
participated in that national,
Mm.
national contest.
Yeah.
After that, when you're done with one level, you start seeing more opportunities, and
True.
the sky becomes your limit.
Mm.
So next was global social entrepreneurship competition. There was GC too, global
Mm.
social entrepreneurship for Africa or something.
Yeah.
And there was Lee Kuan Yew Global Business Plan Competition 2015. There
Mm.
was the India Africa contest.
Mm.
So virtually, I participated in some of this and came tops.
Mm.
I was the only finalist. Okay, we were two finalists for Africa, for the
Yeah.
India Africa competition.
Mm.
I was the only African semi-finalist at Lee Kuan Yew Global Business Plan competition in
Sorry.
Singapore.
The other one, I think, which one? You went to Singapore for one.
Yes,
You
that's
went
Lee Kuan
to,
Yew.
okay. The other one, which country did you go to?
India Africa was Ghana and India for both the Indian and the African
Yeah.
contest.
Okay, India, Africa. Yeah. That's the
Yeah,
one that you went to the US for.
yeah, that's GSEC, Global
GSEC.
Social Entrepreneurship Competition. So that we were on a team of three, Mene and Ashbel.
Mm.
We made it to the finals and also won that contest.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a big, event and experience for everyone. Now,
Mm.
through this kind of exposure and learning, You interact with people beyond the shores of this country, know
Exactly.
how to think, know how innovative and creative. And when you, settle on those grounds of an international context, there are information, there are things you learn, and there are things you unlearn. There are
True.
dimensions of experiences that that will drop on your learning path. You improve your career, and a lot will happen to you. So those early exposures help me a lot to pick
Mm.
up this crazy drive into technology and the innovative space generally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So before go ahead with the interview, a lot of young people are listening. So I just want to ask you, all these platforms for competitions and uh, putting your idea forward that would make you travel, right? Are they
Mhm.
still available now? Can people still apply for these competitions? If they are, how can they get to that? I just want you to quickly touch on that, then we can continue.
I mean, there are several competitions still available, conferences, competitions, business plan, programs, boot camps locally and internationally, training, learning opportunities, some paid, some, unpaid. There are a handful of them currently happening. But I mean, I see that the current trend of younger people in the society, many do not find so much interest in those dimensions of learning.
Mm,
So, but they exist. Trust me, they are very available. We have the opportunitydesk.org doing a
wow.
wonderful thing. We have the opportunity for Africans. We have, I mean, I could go on and on. If you start looking, you'll find. There's a
Mm,
competition, global competitions, I guess, .com and many other platforms that keep giving you insight. If you subscribe to their programs, to their portal, they
yeah.
would expose you to this information basis. So whether you have interest in agriculture, whatever you want to think of technology. So it is not specifically designed for a set of people, not tech people or accountants or agriculturists or whatever. It
Yeah.
is very open to different, uh, you know, works of the arts and learning. So if you want to advance, if you find interest in these spaces, start looking on the internet. There are
Yeah.
multiple opportunities out
Yeah.
there. You
I
can
think
start
there
from
is
local competitions and then advance. That's
true.
beautiful.
There is. I think there is this one Obama. I think Obama Foundation.
Yeah.
Something.
Uh,
Then you can
uh,
travel to the US for a
Mandela
course and come back.
yeah, the Mandela Washington Fellowship,
Yes, Mandela
right?
Washington, and anybody you can apply, put in your apply for it, and if you are picked, you're going to the US. Stay for like
Absolutely.
I think for a month or thereabout, then you come back. And the truth is, yeah, we shouldn't. I mean, I'm saying like, I know the trend of what is going on in the society right now. A lot of people want to. They are seeing the bad model, like in the social media, seeing actors, seeing
Exactly.
entertainers living the life, and they want to model that. But there is this set of people also that really believe in all this, and they are listening, right? We don't know when they're going
Yeah,
to bump into the podcast, but I know there are people that are very bright as you were back in the day, that are very innovative, they are very intelligent, that can come up with intelligent ideas that can disrupt the society. And I think this is a cue for them to just go back to the drawing board and develop something that they can apply to these different platforms that can take them globally. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, interestingly, we even have the Lions Den by
Okay.
Ultima, in Nigeria. Last year was part of that program, and it was an amazing experience. I
Wow.
mean, most times I would first of all advise people or young people who want to go into this scope first to try out local competitions or stretch
Yeah.
your mind a little more locally,
Mm.
because if you can withstand that pressure or take on all of those pressures, you can easily and willingly take up more pressures, especially when they come from the international community.
True.
So it's just how the bandwidth of your learning the bandwidth of your exposure, your mental sagacity, if you're
Mm.
ready to, play on it, amplify it early, I mean, it will help you through life's experiences.
True.
So projects, work, even technology or whatever you find yourself or scope you find yourself, you would see that you perform excellently
Yeah.
and even beyond your limits.
True. So sometime in 2008, 2009, I remember through your platform called, I think you've set up Pan African Spark then. I don't know. I can be wrong, but you did a gubernatorial debate in Abia State, and I just wanted to just share a little bit about that because it's very interesting how a young man. I don't know how old you were then, but the aim is not about the age now. But I'm saying how you were able to put up such an event and pulled almost half of the gubernatorial aspirant in Abia State at the time to come and share what their plan for the state was, and it was very successful. Like it was, I mean, I was, I'm, I'm still thinking about the experience and how the pictures that we saw and the videos when you came back to school to show us. I'm still thinking about it. And I'm like, wow, at
Mm.
that level, you were able to put up a statewide debate for
Yeah,
one govern candidate. Can you just share a little bit about that?
yeah, that happened exactly 21st of March 2015.
Okay.
I mean, right about then, I think I was about 26, 27. Yeah.
Mm.
Uh, I was still young, like pretty much.
Yeah.
So, what happened mainly was I started looking on the internet. I started connecting with more programs. I
Yeah.
was thinking, how can we hold our leaders accountable? How can we even hear from them?
Mm-hmm.
Who has done something? Is there a way we can interact and
Mm-hmm.
not just, get just written memos by other people
Mm-hmm.
about what they would deliver for the state? It's better you interact with these people and feel the pulse of their capacity
Mm-hmm.
and believe, you know, that these people are the right people for the job. So I
True.
thought of it. I remember a year before then, that was 2014 or 2013, Anambra had their elections.
Yeah.
And these same thoughts that were really burning in me about creating a debate for them,
Yeah.
I saw it play out in Anambra.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, great, this was it. I had to I did all I could to show up at that Guba debate in Anambra. I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't make it at the time, but I
Yeah.
tuned in throughout to watch the details and the entire experience and saw how transparent and non-bipolar, apolitical
True.
the program was. So when uh, 2015 came, if, in fact that was 2014, the the last quarter of 2014, this idea dropped in me. I shared it with a couple of friends
Mm-hmm.
who had that energy to, and we are willing to run with it. So once I shared it with them, they were up. They said they were good and they could make this happen.
Yeah.
So there were basically about three or four of us that made that event a reality. Then we wrote to politicians, I mean, the
I remember.
flag bearers of the different parties, the humanitarian flag bearers in the
Can you just tell us
different.
who came?
Okay, we wrote to all of them.
Yeah.
When you start planning, you wouldn't know the details of how many of them existed. I think
True.
there were around 13 of them. So
Okay.
we built stands and everything for them.
Yeah.
So we had 13 podiums,
Mm-hmm.
well designed and created for them. Every other person showed up except the PDP man,
Yeah.
who is the current governor.
Yeah.
That was the only person who didn't show up. I
Yeah. I
think he
remember.
came around the vicinity when he realized that
Everybody
uh,
is there.
exactly.
Mm.
I don't know the entire thing that played out, but trust and believe we had every other candidate on the ground.
I remember.
to yeah, we had the APC, we had I mean it's a long time now, but we had all of them show up except him.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean we had their views. Abians were ready to listen to them. We had a teeming audience at Binez Hotel at the time.
Beneath Hotel, yeah. I remember.
Yeah, everywhere was so filled up, and we were able to contain and plan it. Young people below the age of 30
Doing,
all put this all together.
yeah,
The funds, the realities of the conversations, the communications, the correspondences we had to and fro from each of these parties, and everybody that showed up. It was a free for all event,
yeah,
but it was entirely structured and funds put together by young people. So, I mean, things that can start out from simple ideas to
mm,
igniting passion to igniting reality and implementation
yeah,
and to creating a little move or change in the society. You know, it
true.
was very paramount. And that was the very first uh, publicly attended gubernatorial debate that ever happened in Abia State.
Yeah, and it was an individual organization. It wasn't
Yeah,
like done by, I
it
mean,
wasn't a party
a
affiliated.
party
It wasn't,
or a TV
yeah, an
station or.
institution. Exactly, exactly.
I don't know
So
why he didn't continue doing that, but I totally understand. You
uh,
have
I,
personal
I
projects.
did. We tried to pull something together, but the political landscape in Abia is not quite friendly, and
True,
it comes with different kind of experiences.
true.
So if rather to make a mess of the entire experience, you create a different route
Yeah,
and stay on a different. You just stay away or just keep off, so you
yeah.
don't involve your hands in dirty experiences. Yeah.
Yeah, part of the things that you created while you were also you created this platform was Eco Radar, and I know it grew and evolved into things that I really don't have much details about. But I just wanted you to, because I was very passionate about Eco Radar at the time. It was one thing you created, a solution that you
Mm,
brought up, and one of the things that we talked about was the funding that was lacking to bring it to life. And I just want you
yeah.
to like share a little bit about the process and how you were able to get to the point you got to, and what is going on with Ecoreda. Is it still there or?
Yeah. Okay, beautiful question, man. Thanks for bringing all of this. Sometimes when I think of this, it gives me some
Yeah,
goosebumps too. To
I know.
to say that we started those innovative stuff as way
True.
back as 2011 to 12. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Eco Radar was a simple idea, economic radar, but
Yeah.
then I was also merging it up with emergency community radar. So the ECO was emergency community radar. It was also economic, and I had two products fixed up into one space, and two products that weren't meant to meet. One, it was an artisan network where you
Mm.
could go look for a plumber engineer, and that is the economic radar where you find whatever you're looking for.
Okay, it's like okay,
Secondly,
like an
yeah,
ecosystem of artisans.
yeah, yeah, for artisans, if you need a mechanic, you need anything within your neighborhood. That's why
Yeah.
the radar is there. You could scan through your immediate neighborhood, 5 kilometer radius, and get you people who can do service for you.
Mm-hmm.
Then, secondly, we were trying to create an emergency solution system, something similar. After we did GSEC and a few other programs, I
Yeah.
started thinking of how to create something sustainable for Nigeria in such a way that even if the 911 is not a reality, we can create a surrogate or a force to also cater for emergencies. So
Mm.
that was how the Eco Radar, the emergency community solution came, where you don't need to call the police in a situation of emergency.
Mm.
You play around with your mobile phone, and it alerts your immediate community, and help comes your way. So Ecuador was the basis for most of my international competition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then it started evolving. When I realized that during the India Africa, we had the boot camp experience in India, and we could sit and dissect different businesses and ideas, and we realized that I was trying to put together two things that weren't meant to come in together. So I
Mm-hmm.
decided to separate the artisan network from the emergency network.
Mm-hmm.
Doing that bettered what we call mishap.
Mm-hmm.
Mishap, just like the name is,
Mm-hmm.
literally translates or interprets danger, mishap. But
Mishap. Okay.
yeah, but my own is mishap with a double P at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So an app that caters for mishap. So
Mm-hmm.
mishap has seen beautiful exposures. The most recent one being our last year's exposure to the Lions Den competition. So
Okay.
yeah, and we've been reached out to a couple of people beyond within Africa to gain funding and support. And we've been doing a lot in the background and interacting with governments. That is why I think I hold a lot of space in emergency solution systems and conversations with
Mm-hmm.
different communities. I
Yeah.
mean, I know a state security apparatus that have asked me, interacted with me within Nigeria to
Yeah.
know how we can implement the eco radar or mishap solution in the state. So a lot of things is coming up in 2023, and I think you shouldn't sit and fold your hands. You would hear of it once it's
Yeah.
clearly unfolded. I mean, just get ready for a big bang.
You know,
I can guarantee
I
that.
am I'm getting ready. You know, Godson, I would say over the years I've known you, and one thing I could say, or I can say, is the level of doggedness and focus. Ecorida has been there since whenever.
Hmm.
Mishap has been there, and hearing you sounds like it's still fresh. You know how you just kill an animal, like
Exactly.
maybe a cow, or it smells very fresh. Things is going on, right?
Yeah,
And I just really want to commend you for that because it takes a
thank
lot
you.
to be this focused, right? And I know by time the right funding, like you said, comes into play, people would know what it's all about, and it will be live, and people could download the app and use it, and it would be, I mean, fully implemented. And I think also that, if I may, is that the reason why you started delving more into creating solution with the health, like health sector, and developing
Yes,
solutions um, within that sector?
yes. Upon interacting with a lot of consultants over the years, I
Yeah.
realized that you cannot offer emergency solutions without even having a security section for it and a
Mm.
health aspect to it.
Great.
So,
Yes.
yeah, trying to bring these two vital aspects of every economic system together, you need
Mm-hmm.
to intentionally dive into learning and knowing more. I
Mm.
mean, there's a lot happening. There are business pages and directories being built and established that would also make the our work relevant when it comes to emergency solutions. I'm
Mm.
talking about being dogged and the tenacity when you have a project or when you create something. I think what is more important is knowing the big picture, knowing the picture or the future you see.
True.
Let me put it this way. If you know the numbers, let's do a little math. If I know that I have a product that can affect 2 million people, and by a way of subscription model, I could make $1 from it yearly,
Yeah.
right? Or monthly on a monthly basis.
Basis. Yeah.
That is 2 million naira monthly. And pushing it back into your project and, rinsing and cycling in and out. You can keep doing this and having funds and the finances to create more impact.
True.
So those are the things we see. Like if you know that when your solution becomes uh, viral and very realistic in the society now, what should be the experience? What should be the financial base? If you know all this, if you put numbers to the table, you would find reasons to get focused
Mm.
because aside from the finances, which is always a driving factor and
Mm-hmm.
an inspiration, the fact that you can also solve major problems in a society.
Yeah.
The reason why someone on the other side of your street is smiling,
True.
someone in a different state, in a different country, is giving thanks to God for a beautiful experience, you
Yeah.
would know whatever solution you're bringing to the table is very key for you to continue living and driving it for as long as time can avail you.
Talking about, I'm so happy hearing all the things that you're saying. Really, I just wanted to just share more light because you started talking about impact on life, and I so understand with Pan African Spark, you've been able to do a couple of projects with Google that was centered around capacity building, and then with young people in the rural areas. I just want you to just touch base with that.
Yeah. Okay. Pan African Spark is uh, became the mother organization I created to cater for all of this. All
Yeah.
of this. Yeah.
Mm.
If in the place of trying to create more impact and reach out to your society or your community, there are legally approved platforms that on routes you need to take.
Yeah.
Registering a company is one of them, starting an NGO or whatever it is. So I started the Pan African Spark to cater for those platforms and podiums of impact. So I've been able to use that to work with organizations like Glow,
Mm.
sorry, uh, Google, in partnership with some government agencies. Most recently, a partnership we started with NIDA Nigeria
Okay.
to deliver Google Digital Screening and their deep program in and around the entire 36 states and the FCT. So at the core focus about what we do is technology driven and also knowing how to create social enterprising programs, especially around technology, to
Yeah.
help other businesses like agriculturists, people in different sectors, health, or whatnot. So Pan African Spark has been that mother company, driving innovation to disadvantaged or the right communities where we need to reach out. So we try to do a whole lot using that space. That's really about African Spark.
Wow. Oh my God, Godson, you're a bunch of talents, really. And what do you have for people listening, young people? Your final words to them.
Yeah. My final words would be it is a big world and it's also a very small one. Let
Mm-hmm.
us know how to connect and not get lost in this entire experience. Know how to
Mm-hmm.
use opportunities within your available to you in your environment. First
Mm.
of all, technology is not an option. It's not something you shy away or think of. How do I add this? Everybody needs technology. Whether
True.
it's no matter what you're doing, you can't say you don't have nothing ever working for you driven by technology.
Mm.
The earlier we embrace it, the better. So start
Mm.
thinking of making it a requirement of your experience in life. That would be very beautiful and to amplify and your beautiful become the solution people are looking for.
Yeah. So how can we get I'm so happy. I'm so happy hearing all these things. This is one of my best interviews, really. So how can we connect with you?
I'm available on social. I mean,
Yeah.
on Google, on Twitter, on Godson XE,
Mm-hmm.
on Instagram at Godson XE, on Facebook at Godson XE. Yeah, I mean, you could use that to search me out, but my full name also gets everywhere. And Godson.Ogumka@gmail.com is my direct email.
Yeah.
With that, we can start or ignite the conversation.
Mm. All right. Thank you so very much, Mr. Godson Ogumka. It's our absolute pleasure to have you as our guest today. Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's been my pleasure having this little moment of
Mm.
interaction with you.
True.
It's also a beautiful experience. Thank
Yeah.
you, sir.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, you know how we do it every Friday. Thank you for sticking with us till the end. God bless you, and then enjoy the rest of your weekend. See you next Friday. Bye. Wow, that was an amazing session with our guest today. I want you to also know that The Young Man with Rings is available on all streaming platforms every Friday. If you enjoyed this episode, kindly share, subscribe, and comment. See you next Friday. I remain your humble host, Rings.